8 hours. That's how long this painting took. 8 hours on a subject matter that I don't usually paint, using a technique that baffles me, and making decisions on the fly to make it harder just because that feels more authentic to me. Here's what the Milan Art Institute program taught me this week, and why it's a lesson I'm going to remember. I'm Donna Fox, and I'm on a journey from hobbyist to professional artist. I share everything here, the wins, the disasters, and the lessons that I'm learning along the way. And this week, this painting planted a seed in me that's just beginning to sprout. Stick around, because at the end I'm going to show you a completely separate piece, a little snowdrop I did as a bloom project test that went off the rails almost immediately. I'm enrolled in the Milan Art Institute Mastery Program, which is a comprehensive fine art curriculum that I've been documenting here on this channel. This is assignment 2, and the module theme is Understanding Form and Light. Last week I told you that the newly revised Milan Art Institute program is leaps and bounds above what it was before. And I want to say again, this week reinforced that. The actual painting process is broken into 3 steps. First, there's a subtractive underpainting. So you lay down a fairly dark tone and then pull out the image in lights, which is this beautiful kind of mysterious process where the image emerges out of the dark rather than being drawn onto the canvas. And I really like this way of starting painting. Here's a fun tangent. I wanted to show you how I put paint back in the tube. If I pour extra paint out, you just squeeze it to make a little vacuum and it sucks it right back up. Second is the glazing layer. You layer transparent color over the underpainting to help start building the depth and the local color. So this is the part where you really have to trust the process because it looks terrible in this stage. You're watching me paint stage 2 now, and as you can see, it is just a runny, blocky mess. But it's given me so much confidence. The instruction quality is so satisfying now. The session started with a warm-up exercise focused purely on brushstrokes, which sounds simple, but it was actually a really useful way to get your hand and your head into the same place before you touch the main piece. And the subject itself is this gorgeous, complicated layer botanical. They're with flowers and leaves and birds, and the references to choose from were fantastic. Some of them included also bees and butterflies. These are not simple compositions at all, and exactly the kind of painting that would have intimidated the hell out of me a few days ago. And I'll tell you what, that's a thing that I learned about myself during this program. When you've been painting for a while, you have to make decisions about where your time actually needs to go. And I recently wrote this in a newsletter about decision fatigue in your art practice because we're making hundreds of micro decisions. And one of the skills that I am learning as an artist is to figure out which one of these decisions matter. So here's where I made a decision to make it harder on myself in this painting, and I did it on purpose. I loved the reference photos. I loved the compositions. What I didn't like were the colors. In this reference photo I chose, the color story was red and pink, which are beautiful, but I looked at it and I just felt this pull towards something different. So I changed it completely on the fly to purple and gold. Big surprise for me, I know. But here's the thing about changing your color palette when you don't have a matching reference, and I don't have the digital skills to create a new reference. So every color decision I made was now mine and mine alone. I can't just look at the photo and say, well, that's what the color is, so I'm matching it. I had to know what I wanted and commit to it. So it made it harder to create this painting. But it was the right call because the color scheme felt authentically me when I finished.
The colors come alive now. They're brighter than before. The shapes begin to take form, like sunlight through a door. What once felt like a question is steady in my hands. The painting finds its rhythm and it fully understands. I am in bloom, in colors bright like spring. I am in bloom, I hear my heart sing. I am in bloom, I feel my skill sets grow. I am in bloom, I feel it in my flow.
Okay, so it is the beginning of day 2, and it is time for me to do a little self-critique on what I have going on here. So I'm gonna flip the camera around and show you a little more closely about what's happening with my painting. So here's where we are with the painting, and to start with, I went off the rails from the very beginning. I looked at the sources and decided that I liked this source but not the colors, so I shifted the color first in the original source. This is actually a very red source, so I took all the reds and made them more purple. And then I've decided that I'm going to switch these berries up that are red in the original, but I want them to be golden, so closer to this color. So I've completely switched the colorway, which makes my job harder to begin with. But this is the color palette that I'm going for. Now, I am on the stage where I've just started adding in opaques, and I began them here in the background, so I'm starting to work on the background. And I spent a lot of time yesterday towards the end of my session trying to work on this gradient here. Now, you're supposed to work from back to front, background into foreground, but I couldn't resist getting this little flower done. So I'm going to go back into painting and tell you why, when I'm doing voiceover, it was important for me to finish that flower in the corner of the painting. This is just showing you what my palette looks like. It's all sprayed with water, so first I put the colors out that I know I'm going to use, then I spray them with water. All right, so now let's talk about that flower in the upper right-hand corner. I don't even touch this flower ever again. It is done at this point, and there shouldn't be anything on my painting that's done. However, I am taking to heart some advice that I got from Ellie in some Milan video. I don't know whether it was a lesson or a live stream, and it was one of those throwaway lessons that wasn't part of the process that was being talked about. It was just mentioned offhandedly. I think it was on a live stream, and it was an answer to someone's question, because I felt like she was speaking to me. Someone was talking about the difficulty with getting back into a painting, that they stop the painting and never get back to it. Ellie made the suggestion that you never stop a painting when you are in the middle of a challenge or a puzzle. Solve that challenge or puzzle first, and always end your painting sessions on a high note. This is something I want to incorporate into my practice because I think she was speaking to me. I tend to quit when things get hard and I think, oh, I'll give it fresh eyes tomorrow. And what happens is I get paintings that sit on my easel for weeks or even months or, gosh, on 2 occasions, years at a time, and I never worked on them because I stopped when I was stuck, and that energy hangs on with the painting. So now I am trying to end on a high. And the day before, when I was working on this background, I was getting really frustrated with trying to get a nice soft gradient in the background. So because I was so frustrated and distracted with that process, I decided that I was going to fully render this one beautiful flower in the corner. So I indulged myself with all of my desire for detail and specificity and focus, and I made one beautiful moment. And that let me end my session feeling good and return to it the next day feeling good about picking up again. And it also gave a place for my eye to rest and remind me throughout the rest of the painting to trust the process.
The brush moves without asking, the lines fall into place. The canvas opens wider, there's nothing left to chase. The layers start revealing what I could not see. work is growing stronger with every passing line. What once felt like resistance now open.
I have to mention the drawing exercises that came with this module. There were 3. There were spheres, there was fruit, and then flowers. Now, I've done a lot of spheres and a lot of fruit over the last few years, and those were old lessons from the previous program that were carried forward into the new program. So I made a judgment call and I did just the flower exercise. I focused on the new content, the thing that was pulling me into this program again. While my brain is excited about newness, I want to just keep progressing with something new. So to do the older exercises over again felt like it was dragging me down. Do I need the drawing practice? Of course I do. And I draw a lot, usually on the couch or on scrap paper, or old notes, or over my work notes. I'm still working on my drawing, and learning to draw and paint flowers is a big part of this year's focus. This whole painting, the flowers, loosening up, trusting the layers, painting something I've avoided, it's kind of a perfect metaphor for where I am right now, which is not something I planned when I sat down with this assignment, but there it is. Unlike me, I followed the time suggestions for each step, which is not something I would ordinarily do. It would be that regimented. I like to dig in and stay, but I stuck to the structure, and I think it helped me see each phase clearly instead of blurring them together. Similarly, the way these lessons are broken out into pieces, I could watch a piece of a lesson and then leave my screen focused on what the final look was of, in this case, the instructor was Demetra, what the final look was on Demetra's painting, and get to that point in my own painting. And it really helped me, I think, with my aphantasia not being able to clearly visualize. It helped me to have that anchor to look back on, to let me know when to stop with a step. And the big realization I had, this is the one that just stopped me mid-session, was that I was so far out of my territory. I don't paint flowers. I mean, I'm working on that. The whole reason my floral project this year called Bloom exists is because flowers are right there at the edges of my comfort zone, and I want to learn how to paint them. I also never paint this loose. I am, generally speaking, a very controlled painter. Tight, deliberate, a little fussy. Combating this is exactly what drew me to the Milan Art Mastery Program in the first place. Their abstract realism style is so foreign to me, and with their old program, it remained so. But with these new lessons, I feel a seed has been planted and is starting to sprout. I chose bloom as my word of the year for 2026 because I wanted to focus on blooming as an artist and growing my art business. I've mentioned in my last videos that I'm working on a affirmation songs for artists playlist, where I'm taking my own affirmations and writing lyrics and setting it to positive, uplifting music to play while I am creating. So I created a song called In Bloom because that's my year. It's to be in bloom. And these lines in particular really resonate with me.
I am in bloom, in colors bright like spring. I am in bloom, I hear my heart sing. I am in bloom, I feel my skill sets grow. I am in bloom, I feel it in my flow. I stayed through every moment, I stayed when it was hard. I trusted in the process and I have come so far. And now the work is opening exactly as it should. The seed becomes the flower, the struggle turns to good. In bloom, in color, in light.
This is a snowdrop, and it's a test painting I did as part of the Bloom project, this floral series that I'm working on this year. One flower at a time because I want to learn how to draw and paint botanicals. And this one went off the rails, like almost immediately. And I did what I always do. having it go off the rails was like freedom, so I tried to save it. And I made a lot of decisions in this process. Some of them worked, some of them really did not. So I wrote the whole thing up in my newsletter, which you can find a link to in the description. Every mistake, every attempt, everything that I would do differently. If you want the full story, the link's down in the description. I'm not going to spoil it here, but I will say it's a good one to follow this one. So now I'm in the third and most fun stage of this painting process, the highlights and the details. And this is where the painting just starts to sing. These lessons are pushing me to loosen up. And there were moments in this painting where I just had to let it be messy and trust that the next layer would make sense of it. And here's the thing, it did. 8 hours and I had so many great moments. I learned to trust the layers in a way I hadn't before. Now this painting could use another hour of work, and I'm probably going to give it that this weekend because I ran out of time before I could give the bird the attention that it needed. And it deserves to sing louder in this piece. It's a little quiet. It's there, it's beautiful, but it's not quite holding its own and singing its song, and I want to fix that. I am enrolled in the Milan Art Institute Mastery Program, yes, but I am also an affiliate, which means if you're thinking about joining the program, maybe you would consider purchasing it through my link. That gives me a little bump that I can use to apply to more art supplies, and it doesn't cost you anything more. It's just a thank you that Milan gives to their students who want to go out and to promote their program. And this new program, I am so proud to promote. It is fantastic. So if you decide that you want to join the program and you purchase through my link, which is in the description, the bonus that I am giving is the thing that I can give and I'm really, really good at. You get me as an accountability partner to help you actually get through the system. So that link is in the description, and we'll do it together if you join now, because I'm really just on step 2 of the process. So here is assignment number 2 done. It is a painting that I am proud of. The bird, although it needs a little more attention, is great. And I have a whole lot of proof through this process that the things that scare you are usually worth doing. If you're on this journey too, whether you're a hobbyist trying to get more serious or someone who picks up a brush when you can, I'd love for you to stick around, subscribe if you haven't, and leave a comment if this is interesting to you. And if you missed my full review of the Milan Art Mastery Program, you'll want to check it out right here. Sketch you later.